Yeah, I mean, it's easy to do and it's easy not to do,
Mm-hmm.
but the consequences are quite different with the different choices, right? It's You could prepare ahead, you can take the small steps to ensure fluidity and continuity ahead of time,
Mm-hmm.
or you can choose not to do it and have to deal with the compounding complications of it on the back end when all of these problems get thrown at you. I mean, unnecessarily. So, and this is in regards to what I do
Mm-hmm.
and what you have created as well. So, I think this conversation is gonna emphasize the importance of being prepared and, for all intents and purposes, how to make preparation sexy, how to make preparation be the thing to do, how to make preparation be less painful than most people perceive it to be.
Well, there's power in preparation and being organized.
Always,
Yeah.
across the board. I mean, as we delve, I'm AIing it, delve into some of the things that you want to accomplish with your health and fitness and vitality, and me giving you feedback in terms of some of the priorities that you need to focus on. It still comes back to preparation.
Right.
It's like at every stage of life, in regards to physical health and fitness, there's certain objectives that people have, or not have to have, but it would behoove them to have to stay on point.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in your 20s, you're looking to maybe build your foundation. You're looking to build muscle and get as strong and as vital as you can to do whatever it is that you want to do there, whether it's to attract the other sex, opposite sex, or just be more attractive and just get more comfortable in this newly matured body that you have. That's one KPI. Maybe when you're in your 30s, you're trying to recover after having kids, or recover from an injury, or just kind of maintain what you've built up in your 20s. And maybe in your 40s, the hormones are starting to change and things are starting to shift to the point where you're trying to now focus on the long game, which is typically where most people start to get the long game in their 40s and
Mm-hmm.
50s. So with each stage, you're having to focus on these different things to be prepared for the next step.
Right.
So in your case, you're at a stage in your life where you are looking at it long term. You're looking to prepare to put yourself in the best position to have maximum vitality uh, into the like remaining, not say remaining, the latter half, I should say,
The next
the
stage of
next
my life.
stage of life,
Yeah.
the those chapters.
Yes.
I'm not even going to put those labels on it, but
No, but it's the truth. I mean, it's the next phase of my life. I mean, I've been through all my younger years, and now it's I don't want to say the golden years, but
no, it's just different priorities, just
yeah.
like you said. I mean, just
But I want to be in the best state so I can, live my elderly years. Well, I'm making myself sound like I'm ancient.
I mean, let's brass tacks. I mean, we're both on the other side of 50.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is, I mean, human beings on average live between 70, 80. If you're
Mm-hmm.
lucky, you get into your 90s, and
Right.
if you're doing something really special, you get triple digits.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we can't deny that. So, with being this long in the tooth comes a certain level of reality check. There's a certain level of a certain perspective that we now have on life, that this life isn't permanent.
And yeah, it's important. I mean, everything that we do is important. And it's, as we get older, we have the wisdom that we didn't have before. So it's even more important to plan.
Yeah, that one of the things that one of my sayings, one of many, is that the best situation is to have that wisdom match your vitality. We spend decades building this life experience in whatever shape that it comes out to. It can be from trauma, it could be from circumstances, it can be from struggle, it can be from intentional personal self-development,
Mm-hmm.
but it all comes down to experience. Regardless of how you got there, it's still experience, and you're going to still be a wiser person as a result of it. But then to have that experience and wisdom and to have that match your vitality, or have enough physical energy and health to then benefit from that wisdom, that's the best case scenario for anyone that I can wish upon them. It's a tragedy to have all that experience, to have spent your whole life learning all this stuff, only for your body to take a crap. Because so everything that I've taught it for the past 36 years now, I just don't want anybody to suffer.
Right.
I just don't want you guys to suffer.
Yeah.
It's unnecessary, and it all comes back to being prepared.
Right.
So in your case in particular, I mean, with women, it's about, I mean, it's essentially the same rule. Number one, you got to maintain postural integrity. You got to maintain your frame. You got to maintain proper structural alignment, because everything that you do after that is either going to be a plus or a minus. Like we were talking about with some of the things that you're dealing with. If the structure isn't sound, anything that you do outside of posture is going to be a compensation.
Mm-hmm.
And the more your body has to compensate when you're moving, exercising, doing it, whatever, you're misusing your frame. And that just puts extra wear and tear on the frame. So the biggest priority is don't exacerbate any potential damage. It's like put the fires out first. That's like another. So we're putting the fires out. We're figuring out what those imbalances are, getting you prepared for, that's what you're dealing with. So I want to get into something specifically. So you're training, you're doing this thing, you're doing this particular workout routine and program which you love, and you're consistent with it, and you're dedicated to, which is great, because the best exercise program is the one that you'll do. So great.
Yes.
So now we got the motivation and the initiative in place. So now what we're trying to do is we're trying to now match that initiative with intention and the right strategy for you to be able to be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
So my point is, you can be doing the thing, you can be exercising, but it has to be specific to what you need. I'm not bashing any other fitness routine or any, but it has to be specific to your. It's like you want to think of your body as an instrument,
right?
And each instrument has its own sheet of music that needs to be played for you to get proper music rather than noise. And it's going to be different for everyone on average. I mean, yes, the anatomy is the same, but our bodies can present differently. So we're trying to discover and really understand what your body needs to be able to play that music as much as you can. So you're in the orchestra. We're playing notes with what you're doing now, but we're trying to continuously refine that work to where it's really creating this transformative effect in your overall health. Because at the end of the day, whatever you're doing physically, even though it's just a workout and it's a lot in the physical, it's going to bleed over into the other four pillars.
Yeah.
So
it is.
Yeah. So this is where, we're having these conversations, and I'm helping you make the connection between how your posture is presenting and how that's going to bleed over into your bone health, your ability to build muscle, your ability to regulate your hormones. And you're starting to see that. So that's kind of it. So, getting back to our original raw conversations where I was talking about, okay, yeah, you're doing it, you're getting stronger, you were getting stronger because you're consistent. But then we started to do our functional testing, and then the epiphany started.
Yeah.
What were those epiphanies?
My body's out of whack. My posture, my breathing. Um, I mean, what were you going to say?
No, go ahead.
I mean, my posture is the main issue.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is not a tear you down moment, but no, listen, this is important shit
I
because,
know.
the people who are taking the initiative to get out there and better themselves.
Good value from the content that you're consuming in this video. If you want a practical guide to help you apply what you're learning, get my book, Belly Shred Method. It's a system that I created specifically for men to help you improve your metabolic health, give you a practical routine, workouts, nutrition plan, and stress management system to keep you on point. It's sustainable. If you're a man 35 plus looking to get lean, find a sustainable way to stay in shape without hours in the gym, this is the program for you. So to get a copy of that book, there should be a link somewhere in the description. Now back to your program.
Getting back to this whole the importance of structure again, not to tear you down, but like I was saying, it's important because, as you now understand, this is the alpha and omega of maximum vitality. The reality is, if what you are doing from a structural standpoint is not accomplishing these two objectives, your results are going to be fleeting at best. The first objective is you have to be improving your structure, because if you are not improving your structure, every movement that you do is going to be a compensation pattern, which by default means you're misusing your instrument being your body. Right. And then the second thing is you have to improve your movement. You have to learn how to move better. But you can't learn how to move better until you have put your frame in the right position. So based on that argument, unless you're improving your posture and your structure first, everything else takes you away from the very thing that you're trying to move toward.
Right.
And it's so, as discouraging as that can be for a bunch of people, depending on how you look at it, there's no way around it. And the bittersweet part of it is that when you accomplish that, it puts you you're going to be accomplishing everything that most people want to accomplish with their body and their health.
Right.
What do people want to? They want to look better. They want to feel better. They want to be healthier. They want to hurt less. You ain't accomplishing none of that unless you maximize the integrity of your frame. So this is where the head fuck comes into play, because all the crap that's out there about, this fad and that fad workout and this booty thing and that booty thing, none of it's going to happen until your body's in the right frame. You're not going to be able to build an ass unless you go buy one, unless your body's in frame, because whatever exercise that you do, you're not going to be able to recruit your glute muscles because your brain is going to recruit something else, because your frame is out of balance, because your brain can't make the brain to booty connection.
Right.
If you want to have better posture and have less neck pain, you got to make sure your frame is in the right position. Otherwise, every time you try to strengthen your back muscles, you're going to use your neck or pec muscles in order to recruit the thing that you're trying to fix.
That's what I've been doing.
So
that's exactly what I've been doing.
Because
I didn't know.
Of course.
I mean, I just had no awareness at all. I knew I was in pain. And, my coach will say, keep your shoulders down. I mean, she gives us instruction,
Mhm.
but I just had no idea of the intensity of what it is I do need to do.
So this is where it gets tricky, right? So you just said it. You have a coach. They're supposed to be watching you
Mm-hmm.
and cueing you on the technique of the particular exercise.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Yeah. No, my one coach does.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, from across the room, she'll be able to coach,
Mm-hmm.
but there's different coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't always get exactly what it is you need. So that's why I truly need to learn what it is I need to be doing.
There's coaches, and people are throwing that term around. Everybody's an effing coach, but that's another conversation. But the coach is coaching you on how to do the exercise according to the said proper technique.
Mm-hmm.
That's one conversation. Then there is looking at you and knowing how to adapt that drill according to that client's individual structure. Okay. If you're doing a row exercise and the cue is to keep your chest up and bring your shoulder blades together, that's great on paper. But if my pec minors are so restricted that it's locking down my shoulder blade, and even when you intentionally tell me verbally to pull my shoulder blades together, and I make the intention to pull my shoulder blades together, my pec minor isn't going to allow that to happen because the program is so ingrained that it's going to run a different software. Instead of me being able to activate my rhomboids and middle traps to do this, my brain interprets this as this because the software is as such.
Yeah.
And even when I intentionally try to force my mid traps to do this, it's still going to do this because number one, your brain is trained to run that faulty software, but now the tissues have been adapted to run the software as well. So even when the nervous system has been somewhat corrected, you still have to account for the fact that the tissue has adapted to that particular pattern. So the point is, if your pec minors are restricted, if you have a rigid kyphosis to where even though you pull your shoulder blades together, the scapula has to travel so far, because remember, your shoulder blades wrap around your rib cage.
Mm-hmm.
So when you pull your shoulder blades together, you pull
your shoulder blades wrap around your rib cage.
So here's your scapulas, right? This is your back.
Okay.
So when you squeeze your shoulder blades together, it glides around the rib cage.
Got it.
Okay. But when you're in a kyphosis like this, you're essentially increasing the distance that your shoulder blades have to travel to come together to contract. So now you're in a kyphosis, which means that protracts the scapula, means it brings them more forward. Okay. So now imagine you can't effectively extend your T-spine to bring that distance together. So now you have your short pec minor, a rigid kyphosis, and all of a sudden now you're asking your shoulders to bring your brain to bring your shoulder blades together. There's too many obstacles to make that movement functional. So how do you fix that? You got to go back to square one.
Mm-hmm.
You have to re-educate the tissues first. You have to calm down all the muscles that have been overfiring because of the compensation patterns to even have a hope of getting that movement sequence to fire properly. You have to encourage the T-spine back into extension, and it's going to be more than just cueing you to do this. Because now remember, there's changes to the ligamentous tissue,
right,
which makes the spine rigid at best. At worst, you start to get degenerative changes at the joint level, which we don't want, because once that happens, that's a whole different day at the office. But in your case, we're just dealing with a really rigid anterior longitudinal ligament along your spine and a long, slack posterior longitudinal ligament. Okay, because remember, when those back muscles start to get long and weak because you're here, they don't have enough pulling strength to pull your spine back. So the only thing that's left to kind of keep that spine from going even further here is the ligament. So the body in its infinite wisdom tries to almost callous that ligament to keep you from going any further. So you got a short and stiff anterior longitudinal ligament, and you have this long, calloused, crunchy posterior ligament to try to protect your spine. All of that shit has to be undone for that correction to hold. Okay. And again, this is ligamentous tissue, which has, by design, has a less blood supply than muscles, which has it's a huge blood supply. So all of these adaptive changes have to occur in order for a legitimate structural change to occur. And then you account for the fact that, again, we're talking about motor programs. We're talking about software. It takes about 500 repetitions to develop one, and it takes 10 times as long to undo it. So every time you do it wrong, you're reinforcing the bad pattern. You're essentially creating a version one. You're downloading software upgrades for the virus when you do it wrong. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where every repetition counts. And if the person who's looking at you is supposed to have the responsibility of helping you unfuck this, and either unknowingly or willingly not really addressing it, it gets tough. This is where, I love the fact that the fitness industry is growing, but with more people wanting to do fitness, the level of skill has to go up to meet the demands of the amount of fucked up people that are going to be entering into fitness.
Right.
It's just, it's a great thing. It's a great thing to have that people are doing it, but we as professionals have to level up our skills in a big way. This is what I've been preaching for the past 30 years, and the people who trained me on how to do this has been the same thing. We're probably 2-3 decades still ahead of the curve. The shit that we were talking about in the mid 90s, people are just now starting to get a clue and to start to adapt. They thought we were nuts. I was the first person to bring a Swiss ball into my gym in the mid 90s, and they were like, "What the hell is this?" I was the first certified kettlebell instructor in Florida. I would go around and do seminars, so the kettlebells were still kind of this new thing. So in terms of ideas and progressive approaches to this, by the grace of God, I've just been I've been the tip of the spear for the past 3 decades. So the point is, in order to really fix this problem, instructors are going to have to level up their game. They're going to have to 10x their ability to.
Are they taught all of this?
Depending on where they learn from. The way I've been trained, our instructors are taught this. And, to the defense of what's happening out there, people are starting to get a clue. I see a lot of emphasis on correctives. I see a lot of emphasis on the activation and all of the deeper kinesiology behind it.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting better, but I'm still saying that there's still levels to it. But we're getting better as a collective, but we're still not there yet. We're getting much better. If you look at the content, there's a lot of emphasis on correctives and posture. That's still great, but there's still levels to be had. And that can only be had through reps and beating on your craft. Because when you understand how the body works, this is a joke that my mentor told me. It's like your thigh muscle here is your rectus femoris, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We learned that, the rectus femoris is a knee extender and a hip flexor. It's a 2-joint muscle. It does all this, it responds, but then what do you do when you really understand that the rectus femoris is actually the rectus Chuck Norris, and that this muscle is connected to the whole freaking chain, and it's a dynamic thing. Okay, so it's one thing to understand how this muscle affects here, and potentially, here, but then you have to understand that this muscle affects everything else. So we're gaining the knowledge that all of this is connected, but then we now have to understand that it's even a bigger connection. How does this connect to your hormones? How does this connect to your organs? It's all connected. So the further we can lean into this holistic paradigm, the more precise and the higher level of skill that we will be able to approach this fitness game at. That's my dream. That's what I'm here to do. That's why, yeah. So that's why we're getting there, and I'm happy about that. And that's the only way you heal. You can't separate it.
Yeah.
You can't separate your nutrition from your muscles. You can't separate your nervous system from your muscles. You can't separate your organ health from your muscles. You can't separate your psychology from your body, because it's all connected. I can mobilize your neck and release your pecs and treat your T-spine, and all of a sudden you go home and your spouse is stressing you out. Your brain is going to go back into default and resume the same fight or flight posture that I just spent 3 hours trying to fix.
Right.
And that was all pillar number 4, which is all mind stuff. So my point is, the more we can lean into holism and holistic and really understanding how everything connects, and then having the knowledge and awareness to know how everything fits, you're able to do what you need to do. So that's kind of where we're at, So that's the deeper level of it. But in your case, you have the plan. You know what your big dominoes are. You know the number 1, 2, and 3 things that has to happen for your structure to do what you want it to do, and we're just nailing it. We've done the hard part, is knowing which screw to turn. Going back to that analogy.
Yeah, but it's when I go home and I have to remember which screw it is to turn.
Well, that's where we have your drills.
Yes.
You have illustrations of it. If you have a question about whether you're doing the technique right, videotape yourself, WhatsApp it over, and I'll confirm it or correct it.
Perfect.
That's pretty much how it works. Whether it's live. So contrary to popular belief, I don't need to be in the same room with you in order to do that. It helps because obviously that you get access to the next level of learning, which is the hands-on and kinesthetic part. But if we're not in the same room, we still have visual, auditory,
right?
And and it transfers over. I mean, a good instructor, if they can put an eye on you, they should be able to give you enough data to at least make a better correction and lead you closer to where you need to be.
Right.
Certain people, obviously, like if they're at a certain level of dysfunction, it could be a brain injury, it could be a really compromised orthopedic situation. Then you would need somebody that go in there and really go more kinesthetic and manipulate a joint or get some physical energy in there. But 90% of people, if they're told, if they see it and they're told, and you can verbally walk them through what they need to do, can make good progress. So I don't want people to think that they have to be in the same room with someone in order to get the progress that they need and deserve, because it's not true for 95% of the people.
Okay. I have hope.
Okay.
Yes.
So bringing it back to this whole preparedness thing, and our earlier conversation was talking about how at every stage of life we have different priorities and different goals and different objectives, right? So for people in their 20s, we look most of the time, and when I was in my 20s, I was looking to look as good as I wanted to be as strong, and to kind of solidify myself in this newly developed body that I gained in maturity. So it was about that. But then in my 30s, it was about increasing functionality and really solidifying my structure in terms of that. And then my 40s, it turned into something different, where it was more about longevity and positioning myself into the future and just maintaining that. And then now, into my 50s, it's taking it on a whole different level. But yes, I still want to build my performance. I still want to be a high performer, but I have to think of the long game now.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to by design. So in your case, especially with women, it's these KPIs are huge, just because the dramatic shift in hormones that causes all of the other potentially downward shifting health trends. You have to be more diligent about preparation.
Right.
You just have to. I mean, men, our hormones decline, but the consequences aren't as severe as when you guys' hormones decline. It's just, unfortunately, that's just the game we're playing in. That's a whole nother story as well, with the estrogens and all the plastics and shit. It may come to a point where the consequences are damn near equal if we keep on the same trends, because the men's testosterone levels are dropping so freaking fast now that it's, we're trending towards a 1-to-1 ratio in terms of the severity of hormone decline.
Wow.
But again, that's a whole different conversation. Again, this is me seeing into the future.
Mm-hmm.
Again.
Yeah.
But the point is, women, I believe, they have to approach their later years or higher years, however you want to call it, their older years, with a higher level of preparation, if they want to have a really good quality of life moving
Mm-hmm.
forward. And that's what you're doing by addressing these things that you need to address in your structure, and finding a form of exercise and fitness and strength training that works for you. And again, that we had that conversation as well. I mean, you've trimmed down a lot over the last year and a half, through behavioral change and being consistent with your training. But now your priorities have shifted again. Now for you, it's all about putting on lean muscle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't have a weight problem anymore. You're not gravitationally challenged at this point, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's about now repartitioning, getting as much lean muscle on your frame as possible. And that's not for aesthetic reasons. That's strictly for health and longevity reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Hormone health, bone health, and structural support. And that's where lean muscle comes in at. Now, let's work backwards. How do we do that? What KPIs have to be in place for you to do that? There has to be a nutritional KPI in place. There has to be that structural KPI in place, because you're not going to be able to build muscle unless you're lifting enough load,
right,
to stimulate muscle. And you're not going to be able to do that safely unless you're able to load a structure that's properly aligned.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, again, you're just going to accelerate the rate at which you break your body down. And then you have to have your recovery KPI in there. So those things have to be in place. You have to have your nutrition, structure, training intensity, and recovery KPI. But if you check those boxes, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Right.
But you got to check all the boxes. It's not a you switch from this hope-based fitness to a solid curriculum. Just like I mentioned earlier, we were talking about, when you go to college and you're a pre-med major, there's a specific curriculum for that major.
Mm-hmm.
You know what the KPI is, you know what the standards are, you know when you go through those courses, you graduate with your degree in biology or whatever it is. Same thing here. When you go through the KPIs, when you go through the courses, when you acquire those skills, the results aren't going to be ambiguous. You can look at your results. If you're not getting them, you got to look at what skills still need to be acquired and you go get them.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't do the work and then beat yourself up about the fact that you're not getting results and then know that and then be mad because you haven't acquired the skills.
Right.
Okay, you just got to accept the fact that you still have to acquire that particular skill set and check that box, and then the results will happen. My job is just to guide people as to what skills that they're still lacking that needs to be developed to be able to get their goal. There's zero emotion in this for me at all, ever. It is what it is. I'm about as emotional as gravity. It kicks in. I'm just telling you what needs to happen. I guess the emotion comes in. That is when you become emotional about something that doesn't need to have emotion in it. It's all data. It's all data at the end of the day.
Yeah.
See it as such. If you're not losing weight, data. If you're losing weight, that's data. You just make the adjustments. If you're going to be emotional about something, be emotional about making the adjustments. And that's it. That's how you stay in the game mentally. That's how you stay attached to what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of times when people don't get results, they get discouraged, they get emotional, they get back. The lack of progress probably like reinforces their old identity. So like it almost like confirms to them that they don't deserve what they're going after, type deal. And that's not the case. It's an illusion.
Well, I think it's human nature to have the stories, but it's getting rid of the head trash. Knowing that there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, keep the trash in the trash.
Yeah.
But it's simple. I mean, it's like people make this way more complicated than it needs to be. Some of that is by design, other time.
But it's also the lack of information. I mean, making it complicated is because when you have the information and you prepare, you're not lacking. So it's not as hard because it's easier.
Exactly.
So once you learn the skill, but yeah, I'm at the beginning learning. So
I would give you're not giving yourself enough credit. I think I think you're way past the beginning. You've been at this for a minute. I think you're at a point where you're leveling up your existing skill set, which is a bit, but I think you're coming into that level of awareness that is going to allow you to make real deep transformation.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm getting, because you're not coming at this from a beginner. Typically,
no, but I do have a lot of work to do. So I am not even putting myself in. I'm making myself be at the beginning because there is so much that I need to do.
Same here. And
I want to feel good. I mean, that's the thing. I don't want to have a kink in my neck. I want to be able to, have a nice back and,
feel good and not be in pain and just be able to you want your body to serve you.
Sure.
You want your body to comply when you ask it to do something.
Exactly.
Which is what most people want to do. And that's my dream for everyone.
Yeah.
It's just, I think, again, the deeper psychology behind it is there is so much information out there and people are searching for what they think they need. And then when you add in the fact that a lot of times people are guru seeking, meaning that they're looking for the thing that they can latch onto to be their solution. It's like they're guru seeking. They're looking for the thing that's gonna be the ultimate fix.
Well, I think people are looking for the easy fix.
That too. I was getting there.
And this is not the easy fix. I mean, there's nothing easy about it.
But it's the only fix.
Right.
This is the doubt.
Yeah. There's no pill. There's no shot. There's nothing that you can do to correct this unless you actually do the work.
Correct. Correct. That just put this whole thing in the most beautiful package.
Yeah.
And gift wrapped it in a bow.
And I appreciate you laying it all out, because
that's the message. It's not an easy fix, but it is the only fix. There's no way around it. Anything else, if you try to avoid this is like, spraying.
Here we go.
Spraying a freaking can of Febreze on a pile of elephant shit. It's still gonna be elephant shit. It's gonna be Febreze smelling elephant shit.
Right.
So
your analogies.
So I mean, people spend all kinds of money and exhaust and waste all kinds of life force avoiding just cleaning up the elephant shit. They just spray shit on top of it and cover it up with a blanket and bleach, put Botox in it, lip filler, BBLs,
lashes. Yeah.
So it all boils down. You can't get around it. I mean, that's a whole nother story. I mean, people with all these facelifts and looks maxing and all the guys, and listen, all that stuff comes back to posture. All of it. You want to improve the way your face looks, improve your posture. It all you can be getting all kinds of facelifts, but if you still have posture corrections, you might as well just make sure you might as well just set up an annuity and assign it to your cosmetic surgeon, because you're going to be back there every 5 years, because gravity is undefeated. If you have a structural imbalance, which 100% of the time starts in your head, and you're constantly getting facelifts, the facelift isn't going to hold, because gravity is going to continue to shut those muscles down and inhibit those structures. That's how it works.
Right.
So the quickest way for you to improve your appearance is to improve your posture. I wrote an article probably 25 years ago on this very issue. I got to find it and republish it. The title of it was "Improve Your Appearance Immediately." This is probably, I had to be a level 2. I was a level 2 practitioner at the time when I wrote that. So easiest way, you want to looks max, improve your posture. That's it.
Yeah.
Anything, improve your posture, put all your efforts into improving your posture. See how your structure changes after putting all your effort into that. Once your posture has been confirmed, corrected to the best degree, then you could potentially start exploring all these procedures, because then you would have put yourself in the best position for that procedure to take, and you don't have to keep blowing cash on the same thing. So but that's not good for business, though. That's not good for any cosmetic surgery practice. Or if cosmetic surgeons were really smart, they would hire someone like me as an adjunct to what they're doing. Because one, it's going to make them look better, because their work is going to be you're going to get better results. You can either do that pre-op or post-op or both. So they can add in a corrective cosmetic exercise protocol onto the package.
You got something there.
For anybody,
you got something there.
For anybody's listening, who knows what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
So
you just came up with something. Yeah.
Well, this is the work that I've been doing, but yeah.
No, I'm just
Sure. So this posture thing is real, right? So yeah, so we were talking about you, right? So your goal now is to build muscle. It's all about muscle. So we're having to put these KPIs in place for you to do that, and we're doing it. You don't need to lose any more weight. The weight isn't the issue. Everything needs to go towards those KPIs in that particular order. Corrective, structure first. Obviously the nutrition, meeting your protein requirements, matching your carbohydrates to your proteins, depending on what your activity level is. Basically, strategically timing your carbohydrates, meaning that you're still going to need a base level of starchy carbohydrates for proper growth and repair, but then still strategically timing them around your exercise just to improve and optimize blood sugar physiology, meaning that you don't, by eating your carbohydrates at the right time, it's going to prevent the carbohydrates from being stored as fat rather than it being used as fuel, which is what you want ultimately. I mean, obviously, there is a point where you will develop a certain level of metabolic efficiency to one point where you can eat carbs. And like me, I can eat carbs whenever the fuck I want because I have enough muscle to just, everything goes right into the muscle.
Okay.
That's the beauty of having it. But until you get to that point, strategically timing your carbohydrates can help you get to that point and not have you get fat as a result of eating carbs. But then this is where everything comes together, right? So
yeah.
So once you're training at a good enough intensity, remember that your muscles now become your new insulin. Okay, the more efficient your muscles are, those muscles will draw glycogen in, and those insulin receptors on the muscle helps you metabolize carbohydrates better. That's why muscle is so important for healthy metabolism, not just from aesthetics, but from your ability of those muscles to metabolize that blood sugar and turn it into glycogen. So the muscle becomes carb vacuums, okay, instead of it being converted to fat. That's why you want to train muscles. That's why you want to train for maximum type 2 muscle fiber stimulation, which is the muscle fibers that are most glycogen greedy. That's the metabolic aspects of what we're doing here. And that's going to bleed over into hormones, bone health, right? So if you're walking around with muscles that are not as effective at drawing in carbohydrates, how's your blood sugar going to perform? More of that's going to stay in circulation, which means that your likelihood of increasing your triglycerides goes up. So then you deal with potential insulin resistance, which then leads to more inflammation, which leads to hormone imbalances, because the more insulin resistant you are, your sex hormone binding globulin goes up, which shuts down your whole hormonal axis. That's why blood sugar management is the number one thing that needs to happen for you to balance your hormones, male or female.
Okay.
All right. And one of the most powerful things that you can do to manage your blood sugar is to build muscle.
Got it.
Okay. But in order for you to build muscle, you have to be able to tolerate the load safely to be able to do it safely.
Right.
And that comes back to correcting your imbalances and posture. Now you're starting to understand why everything has to be done in the right order.
Yes.
And at the right time. This is my story and I'm sticking to it. This is the hill that I will die on. 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. It works every time. It worked 30 years ago. It works now. It's going to work 100 years from now. This is evergreen. This is the gospel of maximum vitality.
Love it.
Period. So, with that being said, we're talking about preparation for physicality, for what you need to do in the future. Now, let's take it back a few years. We're at this conference, and we're watching Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is talking on stage, and all of a sudden you look over at me, and you had this like inspiration on your face. And I know from experience that when I have a thought that's powerful, I have to write it down immediately, otherwise I might lose it. And I recognized that look on your face and you said something, I can't remember exactly, but I'm like, whatever. I'm like, go,
Yeah.
go.
I said, I think I just had an aha moment.
And I'm like, right, go. And this was 3 weeks before the pandemic.
Yes.
Like literally, it's like 3 weeks before the whole world changed.
Right.
This idea came into to fruition. So tell me what happened there. Let's share. Let's recap what happened there with that.
Okay. So in 2019, I'd lost 11 people to death, all different ways, all different ages. And then we went to the conference in 2020. I had gotten chills all over my body. I felt the big presence of my father, who had died in 96. And that's when I said, I just had an aha moment. And you said, right. So I started writing in my notebook, hello from the other side, what you need to know before and after I go. And within 6 minutes, I had pretty much written the table of contents of this book that I was about to write.
Fantastic.
Which is Planning for Paradise. So birth certificate, driver's license, where you're from, siblings, medications, medical conditions, car insurance, like just everything from A to Z somebody would need to know if in the event something were to happen to you.
Yeah.
And I believe that because of the funerals and everything that I went to and the chaos that I saw different people going through from not being prepared.
Yeah.
Everything was planting a seed at the time that I didn't know about. And then I realized that I was about to write a book. So came back, started writing like crazy. And then 3 weeks later, everything was shut down because of the pandemic. And when you talk about like preparing for the unexpected, nobody knew. Anyone living had no idea.
Zero.
What we had no idea what was going on.
Nope.
And so I knew that I wanted to make this very easy for people to get their affairs in order and not be afraid to do it.
I mean, I believe in the power of simplicity, and as simple as this workbook app and piece of this tool is, it's something that people often avoid because it is painful. I think when it's a combination of fear and pain. That's period. It's unfortunately it backs the two most powerful things in the human psyche. It's fear and pain, and I guess we would say death as well.
Well, and that's it. I mean, sometimes when I speak about it, people will say, oh, that's so morbid. But the fact is, we're all going to die at some point.
We're all going to die at some point.
But if you prepare ahead of time while you're healthy and while things are going well, you're not worried that the people that you're leaving behind are going to have utter chaos. So, people will say, what is the most important part of the app or the book? And I always say, I believe it's the letters. And you don't always have to write a letter to someone. And I encourage people to say how they feel while they're living, not leaving that letter behind. I mean, you can do that. Of course, it would be wonderful. I've kept all my dad's letters to me, and I love to read them, and they make me feel great. But if you owe someone an apology, or if someone's been so good to you and you have such appreciation and you've never thanked them, or, the gratitude, the appreciation, the love, the apology letter is huge, because I've heard so many stories of people that have passed and they're like, I never got to apologize. I never got to, tell them how I feel. I never got to hear from them that they were sorry, they were proud of me, they loved me. And a lot of people go through that with especially their families, but they're good friends. And I would say, especially since COVID, everyone has isolated so much and people don't talk. They just text. Or they see everyone.
I told you you were going to need. I told you you were going to need this.
They see everyone on the internet So they feel like they know what's going on, but people don't really talk to each other anymore. But there's so much power in feelings
Yeah.
and telling people truly like how much they've meant to you.
Yeah.
And I think it's easy to hurt someone's feelings and then just, you know it, but then we just go ahead in life and it's, you know, a new day, time has passed, and it's like, oh, time heals all wounds. My one friend says the one who owes knows.
Mm.
And that, you know, that has to do with money,
Yeah.
but it also has to do with
Emotions.
And relationships. You know what you've been to
The
someone.
the one who owes knows.
The one who owes knows.
Absolutely.
And apologies, that's ego. So when you are saying to someone, I know I've hurt you so deeply and I'm so sorry, I've put a letter in the back of the book and the app, and it's all it is I have a feeling it's time to start the healing. You don't have to write that letter, but it also gives you the awareness to say, oh, you know, when you see it written down, or it's like, you know, you've always meant so much to me. Thank you for always being there for me. I mean, I've had people that have meant so much to me in my life that helped me in my 20s.
Yeah.
I'm in my 50s.
Yeah.
And I never got to truly thank them. A lot of them have passed. They know, I mean, obviously, you know, but there's something very powerful in actually saying the words and actually feeling deeply enough to express it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a tough one, and I want to dive into a piece of that just from my perspective. I think when like getting back to that what you said about the one who owes knows. It's a weird dichotomy, right? If you have an exchange where you know the words could have been damaging, or you create that whatever, say something that you can't take back, and you create that hurt. I think a lot of times people avoid reconciling that because that shame, you have to revisit that shame, and a lot of times people don't want to revisit that because their ego doesn't want to. They don't want to face that. They don't want to confront that side of themselves. They don't want to confront that, but it's
also a part of your legacy that you leave behind.
Correct.
So, you know, as our wisdom grows through age, hopefully, because what you are in your life is what you are in your death. I mean, a lot, you know, when someone dies, all of a sudden they become everyone's best friend. Oh, they were so wonderful. They're so whatever. But the reality is, if you've had a close relationship with them, you will say, oh, they were very hurtful. They really hurt my feelings, or, you know, and I believe that. They don't want to face the disappointment, but there's so much more power in facing that because you find resolution. And I know so many people that have been, you know, gone through things with their parents that they just wanted that apology.
Hang for a sec. Let me check this. I want to make sure this is still going.
Oh.
Yep, we're good.
Good.
But
yeah, or they just wanted to hear, you know, I love you, or, you know, a lot of people can't say it, and that's why I encourage them to write the letter, because when you're writing a letter, you're able to say so much. For example, my neighbor's son just passed away. He had a heart attack in his 50s. I was walking the dog and we wanted to just, you know, meeting. And he told me that his son had just passed away about a month ago. He had died of a heart attack, and that he wasn't close with his son growing up. And when he and the mom had divorced, they were distant. So he wasn't with his son a lot, but he felt that he had disappointed him. He felt that he could have been there so much more for him. But he has grandchildren now. And the grandchildren only know the dad's story of the guy not being there for him. If he would have made a resolution earlier, before the son had passed, then he lives with this guilt. But I said, you know what? whatever you believe in. Like I believe when we pass, our soul is everywhere.
Sure.
So you still have that chance of being a wonderful grandfather. So take the photos, share them with the children. You don't have to hold on to them. Write the letters to the children, share stories of the son, because they weren't always estranged. But he's living with the grief of guilt when he could have easily, and it's not easy.
No.
It's not easy.
Nope.
To face those hard conversations. But in writing a letter, I'm writing how I feel. Once I release it, there's so much power in it's therapy.
Yeah. So I'm going to play not necessarily devil's advocate. I'm going to play compliance advocate and solution advocate here. I get everything that you're saying, and I feel it. And hearing what you're saying, I'm inspired to do it. I was on board with it, but I'm an alien, and not everyone thinks like me. So how can we make adopting that mindset sexy? How can we make that something that people move towards rather than avoids? That is the question that needs to be answered, I think.
Well, this is my thought. For the past several years, we've been influenced by the influencers that have not been so influential. And we've talked about this before, but we hear a lot of times, have zero fucks to give. Love is not enough. Don't care what people think. But if I've hurt you, I should care. I should care how I've made you feel. Love is the most powerful force in the entire world. There's no greater force than love. So to carry on that conversation of love is not enough for you. Love is not enough for the person saying that, because when you've been raised with love, when I feel God is love. And love is truly is the most powerful energy. That's the sexy part of being real with yourself and not being too great of a person to acknowledge faults, things you need to improve on, just like the physicality, all of the movements, all of that stuff. I mean, it's easy to have the ego of, you need mastery to whatever, you need a vision board. But no, you need to be real and you need to be open, loving, and powerful. Those are the 3 words that I describe myself as. What are the 3 words you would describe yourself as?
Loving, vitality, and it's my 3 words. My 3 words: loving, vitality, and inspirational. I think those are my 3.
I know for a fact there is nobody like me in this entire universe. I might have not wonderful posture, but once I do, I'll be perfect. But what I'm saying is, I know when I walk into a room, my energy fills the room. I make everyone feel good just by eye contact and a smile. I feel, how do we make it sexy? By writing a letter of whatever it is. It's, to me, honestly being real.
Yeah, and I said that it wasn't to put you on the spot to answering that.
No,
but it was more just to start the conversation, because I believe the answer is always in the question. Whether it gets answered right away is another conversation. But I think by simply asking the question, eventually the answer will come. So that's where that came from. But
and the thing too is that I feel like, back to what I was saying about when I walk into a room, and I'm thinking of the gym when I go to the gym. But the thing too is that, why do we treat strangers better than we treat our family, our close friends, our loved ones, our spouse, our, the people that have been there for us. It's easy to turn a blind eye and say, I'm done. Don't.
Yeah, it what I'm hearing and what I got from what you just said was, it's a choice, right? It's not an easy choice, but in the process of choosing love, we are better because of it.
Mm-hmm.
And by choosing love, it puts us in the best position to be the best version of ourselves. It gives us the raw material to essentially do just about pretty much everything that most people want to do.
Right.
Unfortunately, too many people have bought into the nightmare, which does not allow them to choose love, right? They choose fear instead.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is, fear and love can't exist in the same space. So they're forces that are creating this tug of war between the two. And unfortunately, love isn't always profitable on the front end. But fear creates it makes people do things faster on average. And it's easier to control people that are in fear. And if someone has an interest in making a large amount of people elicit a response sooner than later, fear would probably be the way to do that.
But back to what it is I do, getting your affairs in order is the greatest act of love you can give to the people you leave behind. Fear is going to create chaos. So yes, it's, you're giving the analogy, I'm giving the analogy, fear is a red flag. Like, oh, I'm going to die, I'm going to manifest death if I do this. Being organized and your preparation for having everything in place is not a red flag. It truly is the greatest act of love because you're not leaving your people in chaos. Fear is like when things aren't. Love is calm. I feel like love is solid. It's a foundation. Fear is rocky. It's unsettling. It's sick to your stomach. It doesn't feel good. It's the red flags. People have a fear of getting their affairs in order. People have a fear of getting their bodies in order. But once you do it, it feels so good.
Yeah. At the end of the day,
it's clarity.
Yeah, like you said earlier, we have a bunch of influencers, but at a certain level, their ability to be influential is still something to be desired. So to answer the question that I asked about how to make choosing love sexy, how to make being prepared sexy, I think it really boils down to continuing to be influential with this particular message. I think, as much as we would like to snap our finger and have the majority of the zeitgeist take on how we think, it's just going to not happen that way. So it's just going to come from.
Well, we were initially when you had asked how do we make that sexy, we were talking about the apologies and all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
just take it
then
out.
I started, talking
Yeah.
about the love. But, we have two choices. It's a choice again.
Yeah.
How are we going to go through life?
Yeah.
Loving or in fear?
Yeah.
And my dad always said, face your fears head on and look them dead in the eye.
I agree. And that's essentially what you created in this in your planning for paradise tools, the book and the app,
Yeah.
to be able to make it easy for people to adapt this love over fear,
Yeah.
to make it easy to leave a legacy of love and expansion, and not have what would be an already stressful event and time be more stressful,
Mm-hmm.
but do the opposite. When someone passes and they have these tools in place, it becomes a legitimate celebration of life,
Right.
rather than, I mean, obviously there's going to be grief just because of the nature of it, but it just makes the process much more humane and much more in alignment with the way the life process should be. That's what I got from that.
Right.
And I think this having these types of conversations, I think is going to be one of the ways that we do this and make it and bring it forward.
Yeah.
There's no other way, because it just takes repetition, it takes momentum,
Sure.
and I know the right people will hear this and adopt this and lean towards it, and then at that point it becomes about each one teach one,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of go from there. So what is as much as I've been on the back end of this, I'm totally
What is the name of my app?
brain fart about that. Yeah,
Legacy Plan.
legacy plan.
Yeah. So it's Planning for Paradise Legacy Plan. So the book is for the planning and the app is for the preparing.
And then the book is on Amazon, right?
Yeah. The book is on Amazon
Under
Planning for Paradise.
cool,
And then the app is in the Apple Store and Google Play.
cool. And then what's your social handles that where people can reach out?
Planning for Paradise on Instagram.
Okay.
And Sharon Sampson. Sharon K. Sampson.
Sharon K. Sampson.
Yeah.
It's been awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for chopping it up.
Thank you.